Hey guys, stay tuned at the end of this video. Even though during the video I say I don't have a bulb, I find a bulb at the end of the video and I'm able to demonstrate that for you. So stay tuned at the end to see the projector actually in operation with a bulb. We're going to look at this Bell & Howell Soundstar Super 8mm sound projector. It is not only a playback projector, which will play soundtracks, magnetic soundtracks off of 8mm film, but it will also record. And if you notice down here, we have this play and record section. We have a record mode of minimum and maximum. And we have, actually it says mix and max, which is just weird. I guess in this case, you either mix with the soundtrack or you erase the soundtrack. So you have a record button, a framer. You have a button here that kind of helps it out if it starts clicking really loud. We got a volume control, and then your traditional off, fan, lamp, focus control, forward and backward control, and then you have the little button here on the top that is what you press down to thread the film in. So let's remove this panel here in the front, and I'll show you where the bulb goes. And I'm going to give you a recommendation. If you find one of these secondhand somewhere, do not buy one of these that has a bulb in it that looks like a vacuum tube. Here's what the base of that bulb looks like. This is a DJL bulb, and they are very expensive to replace. If you look on eBay, they're anywhere from $30 to $60 and up to replace one of these bulbs. So I really don't recommend that you buy one of these projectors. Now originally what I had done is I broke the globe off of the bulb itself, and I soldered another bulb on there to with the same voltage and wattage, actually lesser wattage of what I had. And it worked, but then when I tried to replace it with a higher wattage bulb, one of these little stems in here broke off, and the only thing that holds it on there is glass. So once the glass busted off, then I was pretty much done with that rigging project there. So anyway, that's the story behind the bulb. As far as the workability of this machine, well, it's two speeds. So you have 18 and 24 frames per second, very much like the cameras that came out with them in the day. Flip it around here. So here's the inner workings on the inside. On the back you have a speaker jack, a mic jack, and an auxiliary in, which is all very cool for making narrations or adding music to your home movie soundtracks. Look at this gigantic motor it has in here with a fan. And strangely enough, there's no vent in there to get that air over to the bulb itself. So apparently that fan is just there to keep that motor nice and cool. The two-speed mechanism is bizarre. I've replaced this belt. I bought a brand new belt for it. It cost me $8 for that belt off eBay, because I thought, you know, if I'm going to put the investment into it, I might as well get the right kind of belt. So I did. But if you see back here, there is this little thing that moves along with the speed control on the front. And all it's doing is it's grabbing that belt. I don't know if you can see it happening back there. See how it's grabbing the belt, and it's pulling it over onto a separate side of the pulley here. So there's two spots. This is the 24 frame per second side, and that's the 16. And then it has this series of belts, pulleys that the belt wraps around, and then these have little rubber tires on them. So there's one on the inside that actually turns the shutter, and that shutter is attached to all the rest of this mechanism up here. So it does the rewinding and the fast forwarding and does the take up reel. You'll notice I put some of my Thomas Edison grease on it, so it's well lubed with Tom Edison's recipe for lubricant. So it's what is used in phonographs. Here's the what do they call that? The capstan, the flywheel. The flywheel for the capstan, and that helps regulate and keep a steady speed for the soundtrack portion of the film. But there is nothing attached to this. This literally spins freely on its own, and the force of the film itself spins it and gets it turning at the proper speed, which is just strange as well. But I have seen that before on other projectors. So going through here, no capacitors had to be replaced. Everything is in good shape there. And I would imagine this unit was probably made in the early 80s, maybe late 70s, as far as that goes. Let's flip it around to the front again, because I wanted to show you. This other panel down here comes off, and you'll see here where your film actually feeds through. So the film comes in here, goes across the top there, down through the gate, which we can access this way. So there's our film gate. Film comes down through the gate and then wraps around this roller here, and this roller is the other side of the capstan, or the flywheel that we saw on the back side. So soundtrack goes across the playback head, which is here, rolls over there, goes underneath, goes down this long chute all the way across there, comes out, and then goes out to your take-up spindle, take-up reel. So as far as automatic threading goes, it did a really good job of automatically threading. But I've noticed that the sound is really, well, not really slow, but it's slower than normal. It gives the narrator on the test film that I have kind of a creepy sounding voice. So wasn't real happy about that. So basically at this point I can't demonstrate it for you because I don't have a bulb, but I can play one of my reels over here for you so that you can hear what it sounds like and hear the general, you know, just the workmanship of it. So we'll do that here in a second, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and disable this speed selector that's on here because I don't really care to play anything at 16 frames per second. So what I'm going to do is you'll see that screw right there at the top of your screen. Let's see if I can do this and show you at the same time. Alright, that might be a good spot right there. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to loosen this up, and then I'm going to take the belt out of this hanger here. See the hanger coming down? So I'm going to take it off of that, and sorry for the shaky camera. And I'm going to just leave that hanging loose there, but I don't want it touching the belt. So what I'm going to do is, well, it looks like, oh no, another screw's got stuck to it. So what we'll do is push that in, and then I'm going to tighten that screw. Can you see that? Yeah. So I'm going to tighten that screw there. And then just make sure that that our little hanger there doesn't touch that gear that's behind it, right there, and make sure it's not touching the belt, either one. So so essentially what I've done there is I've disabled the speed selector switch, so that just kind of hangs out there, does nothing. I noticed that it had a lot of trouble when I would switch it to a slower speed and then switch it back again. So all right, let's fly back around to the front. I'll load up a film and we'll see it working without a bulb. Real quick, this is the speaker that's attached to the back side of the lid there. You can see the wires coming out from the circuit board there to there, and then your power wires hooked to the back of this transformer. So since I've already played this film once, I'm going to have to rewind it, and to rewind it we're going to put the supply spool over here, and the take-up is now reeling it back that way, and we got there by putting it on fan and by turning the selector to this position here on the front. So there is what rewind looked like. To load the film, we insert the film into the front of the gate here, as you see, and we're going to press down this button and turn the selector switch to forward. So here we go with that. And you're supposed to hold it there until you see the film come out the other side. You should see. There it goes. Alright, and then we're going to make sure that the film automatically collects on here. This poor film, I've used it so many times, it's almost trashed. Let's go back here a little bit. Alright, that should take care of that. Alright, let's go ahead and turn it on and hear how bad it sounds.
The use of loops can simplify the programming of repetitive instructions. This program contains 2 loops. However, only one loop operates at a time. Sometimes programs use a loop within a loop. This is called a nested loop. The inner loop can be repeated many times.
You can see the magnetic soundtrack there on the film. And you can see the redness in the film because it's completely faded. This is like taking a run around a park. Getting on a merry-go-round for a while. Then repeating the run around the park. Getting back on the merry-go-round, and so forth. Many programs use such loops which contain other loops. A loop to control a repetitive process usually requires an instruction for counting iteration. So that's about it. That's about all I can show you without the $4,000 bulb that it requires to get it operating again. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this overview of this Bell & Howell Soundstar Super 8mm sound projector. There are more projectors on my channel, and ones that are much better made than this one was, and you can check those out. Those had bulbs. And please subscribe to my channel, share this with a buddy. And I will say that upcoming I have an old Kodak Pageant 16mm projector that was probably used back in schools in the 50s that I got to get out of the box, and well, I guess it is in a box, but it didn't come in a box. I've got to get it out and get it checked out, and then I'll have a 16mm projector to show you guys as well. Again, please subscribe, share, and leave a comment below if you have a question. Thanks for watching. Well, before I let you go completely, I noticed after I finished my video making that I had a Brownie 8mm projector that I recently made a movie about here on YouTube, and I looked inside, and sure enough, it had a bulb that would fit this projector. So, an update here. That is what the bulb looks like. And again, it looks like a little satellite dish trapped inside of a glass cabinet there, glass globe. But it fit. It was the right voltage and wattage, even though it wasn't the right 3 letters that were on it. But it works. So let me show you. Let's turn it on. Actually, oh, I turned the light switch off over here, so that's of course going to cut the power. Okay. So there we go. And I'll show you a little bit with it actually playing the film.
Simplify the programming of repetitive instructions. This program contains 2 loops. However, only one loop operates at a time. Sometimes programs use a loop within a loop. This is called a nested loop. The inner loop can be repeated many times for each execution of the outer loop. This is like taking a run around a park. Getting on a merry-go-round